Hello, Connecticut. We've been talking with Heather on the phone about the opioid epidemic in Connecticut, and we've stumbled upon some websites that are just out of this world. You really got to hear some of this stuff. So we'd like to focus on this article. I have it on the screen here, called Opioid Epidemic. See how millions of prescription pills move through Connecticut. So when you click on the article, here comes page 3, okay? The infamous Dr. A.J. Ahuja gave out 7,350 pills, but that's the rapist from Darien and Stamford, and we've been collecting affidavits from anyone who was his patient, and if you know anyone who is a victim of Dr. A.J. Ahuja, we need you to come forward right now, because A.J.'s brother was indicted, found with $18 million in his trunk. 2 people recently came forward, and one lady is been basically hospitalized for over 23 years, and another guy is currently going through the courts. But what we want to show you is quite remarkable. So this guy is behind what we believe is a major bribery, judge-related, prosecutor-related corruption. But hold on a second. We stumbled upon this. Here's page 1. These doctors, take a look. Richard Gosha of Brookfield, gave 68,000 pills. Go up the list. Here's one, 73. Here's 99. Okay, so the guy who gave the second largest number, Jeffrey Bash, right here, of Middletown, gave 287,000 pills. But the number one doctor, Jonathan Cost, at the top of this list, gave 420,000 Oxycontin pills. Okay, but that's not the remarkable part, folks. Let me show you what the remarkable part is. This is his total number of patients, 198. Okay, 119 women and 79 men. Look at this. 183 white people, all but 10. 0 African Americans, 0 Asians, and 0 Hispanics. This is a doctor, okay? 0 Hispanics, 0 African Americans, 0 Asians, giving the largest number of opioids out by, he had 450,000, and it's 200,000 more than the doctor in second place, which is a remarkable number of drugs. Targeting only white people. Only in Connecticut, folks. Now, does this prove he's a racist? I don't know. Heather, you want to say anything?
I mean, like you say, it's unbelievable, Johnny. But,
no African Americans, no Asians, and no Hispanics. And he's treating all white, mostly women.
This is why Connecticut, lily white Connecticut, needs to wake the hell up. Your kids are in jeopardy.
Wow.
I know every one of your listeners, if they live anywhere in, within maybe 40 miles either direction of,
right.
Or either direction of Stamford.
Right.
I mean, he's dealt all the way up past New Haven.
Oh, you want to talk about the protective order you're seeking?
Victim went into the Stamford court last week to ask for an order of protection, which is, in other words, way of saying a restraining order against the doctor's son.
Now, what was up with the note? What was up with the note? Can you describe the note?
Well, the note in itself is incriminating against the doctor's son, who
right.
happens to
was it a confession? It was a confession, right?
Well, it was a threat. I wouldn't call it. I mean,
What will happen to you we'll do the same thing we did to this other guy.
Yeah, let me explain that this guy is on drugs.
Okay.
And so, in his probably drug-induced stupidity...
Right. The doctor's son, Ahuja, right, claimed, let me get this straight.
The doctor and the son both use drugs. They're glassy-eyed. They can barely stand on their own 2 feet half the time.
Now, didn't he claim that he shot someone in your family in the back of the head?
Yes.
Okay. And did the Stamford Police assist in any way?
I don't know what they're doing. That's supposedly what's going on. Is Darien working with Stamford? But
right. So a doctor who had an office in Darien and Stamford had a son who is threatening, and we're waiting for them to do something about it. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, well, the bottom line was that the restraining order was denied, but there was a hearing, in fact, put in place. So that hearing will be on the 24th of this month to see whether or not a permanent restraining order can be put in place.
Do you know who the judge is?
I don't, and they wouldn't tell me, but the marshal threw me out of the court service center physically, verbally, and I told him I'm going to have to file a lawsuit because that's it. I've had enough.
Well, hold on. Let me bring up an important point, okay? In the past, did Dr. Ahuja claim that he bought a judge?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't know what judge it's going to, but we know that when Judge Gary White heard the Ahuja case, he let him go with a slap on the wrist, right?
Exactly.
And then a prosecutor mentioned that he should be treated just like any other drug dealer, right?
Exactly.
But
that was Reuben, and Reuben was, I quote him from the Stamford Advocate, he said that he disagreed with Judge White's ruling, and that he felt that Dr. Ahuja should be treated like any other common drug dealer.
Now hold on. Let's bring in some other facts that are equally as important. Michael Ahuja, right, indicted, caught with $18 million in his trunk, bribing cops from Connecticut to Texas. Mostly New York, correct?
Yes, it was in New York, correct.
Okay, so here we go. We have the Oxy Pill Mill dynasty of Connecticut taking over Purdue Pharma because they want to be in the drug business, right?
Correct.
And claiming, oh, they're helping people with big pharma, when in fact, what are they doing? They have a support system, right? Conklin, for example, taking in $1 million a year from Purdue on salary for $400,000 from the Stamford Police Department. He's making $1.4 million, right?
Well, this is the thing. How is it that I'm going to get justice working with the police department that threw the material evidence in the garbage?
Here we go. Who is that?
That was Sergeant James Van Allen.
Right.
He was the sergeant right under Conklin.
Right. So what happens is Heather's involved as a nurse, finds out about certain things happening, ends up getting, we can say it, right, raped, foreclosed upon, drugged, right?
On a woman who's never in her life
taken any drugs, right? And then when Van Allen investigates, he gathers all the evidence and he throws it out in the garbage.
3 days prior to being deposed.
So they gathered the evidence and destroyed it.
Correct.
Now, this is what's interesting. Ready? Tong asked the prosecutors to criminally prosecute Purdue for overprescribing, creating a drug that they never disclosed how addictive it was, right? And then all these doctors on that list we just talked about prescribing the $500,000 a year. I mean, give us a break, right? 500,000 pills a year. How many people would that cover? Just that one doctor, 500,000 pills. And the second place doctor, 250,000 pills. 250,000 pills? Hold on a second. That doctor gave 450,000 pills to 200 clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how many is that? Hold on. That's like 12 pills a day per person, by my head. I could be wrong. The fact is, who could take 12 Oxycontin pills, codon pills in one day?
We have the evidence from the DEA, from the federal lawsuit against Dr. Ahuja.
Okay.
And it was right in there. Everything was stated in black and white. And what did Dr. Ahuja do? He said the people that he gave the drugs to that weren't accounted for went to his son, the lawyer in Stamford. That's like a big joke where the lawyers say, oh, and the police say, oh, yeah, wait a minute,
right.
You are, because he's so ridiculous.
Right, and then his wife OD'd and his son OD'd, right?
Well, Dr. Ahuja, his youngest son's dead from an overdose, and then the wife is dead now from a drug overdose.
But the wife knew about all the victims that he raped.
Yep. And that's what led us now as of today, we know factually from this witness that Dr. Ahuja, he was attempting to rape this guy's wife, and in the middle of this, Dr. Ahuja's wife came home and caught him and took this woman to the hospital, and she is not...
The wife intervened, who is now dead, and then the nephew sought a restraining order, but he didn't get it, due to his own fear, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, now, another guy who's coming forward is saying that he was sexually abused by Dr. Ahuja, a man this time, and saying, hold on a second, I complained to the Darien police, they did nothing. Right?
Well, the Darien police, that was the treatment of him as a victim.
Right.
The screaming at him.
Right.
And the, basically harassment, or what would you say when...
Is there a lawsuit? Is there a lawsuit?
No, but this is still in the process. They've got that in internal affairs. So there's an investigation into how the victim was treated.
Right.
The second thing is, this individual was supposed to go to the police department and follow up on a Tuesday in the morning, on a Tuesday morning.
Right. And
what happened to him over the weekend was... someone threw a brick with a death threat attached.
Right. Saying if you don't change your story.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on.
No, it said leave town.
Oh, it said leave town.
Threat.
Leave town, or we'll do to you what we did to Charles's son, correct?
Exactly. With a racial threat. We're going to kill you.
Right. And the prior threat had the N-word in it.
Yeah, so here's the thing for the public to know. So what does this gentleman do? He goes straight to the court and he files for a restraining order he has...
And it was denied. And what judge was that?
That was the instant. Now he's got a court hearing...
Was that Clark?
On the 24th.
Was that Clark?
No, I don't know. It was... Look, you can't read the judge's writing. It was some judge that I had not seen... that name before. Goshen or something. Goshen.
I don't know that one.
I don't know who the judge is.
So hold on.
I asked the court clerk today, and they said they didn't know. That's a ridiculous answer. You work in the court. You know you're civil court judges.
Okay, let's first repeat. Ready? The doctor was boasting that he bought a judge, correct?
Correct.
The doctor was released without being fully prosecuted by the prosecutor's office, right? Correct. They didn't go after him. They didn't go after him for the murders, right, of his wife and son, right?
No, they changed the death certificate. It was a cross out right on the death certificate.
Okay.
I brought that up. They are acting stupid, like, oh...
Okay, so hold on. Here's the kicker. Ready? There's doctors prescribing 450,000 pills a year, right? Here we go.
Right.
when Tong asked the prosecutor to prosecute criminally Purdue, and they said no. They said it was too profitable. Now, what does that mean? That the prosecutor is getting bribed? Because an interesting fact that no one is addressing, right? Nobody, is that Sam Magliari's niece overdosed, and we don't know all the details, correct?
Not only did she overdose, she died.
Oh, right. I get you. So here we go. We have Tamaccio. Hold on. Let me outline this. Hold on. Tamaccio recently had Sam arrested again, 5 warrants, after Judge McShane said he would not arrest Sam if Sam left the courtroom, because we all went to his appearance, correct? Now Tamaccio files 5 more warrants. Well, how many is that now?
I don't know what he did and didn't file.
Well, that's what I heard.
Anything. All I know is they're not going to let up from...
I spoke to Frank Lacona, so there's no denying what Frank Lacona said.
I don't think that should really, in an open case, should be discussed. But the bottom line is, you're trying to help me, and they're after you. And that's the bottom line. You have a warrant. You had a arrest.
Yeah.
And what the heck is going on here?
Yep.
I was on the telephone with you the same way I'm on the phone with you right now.
Yep.
No one's threatening anyone. No one threatened anyone then. We were just talking. You had Mr. Magliari was sitting right next to you.
Is this an OxyContin problem?
One more time?
Is this an OxyContin problem from Dr. Ahuja?
Absolutely. And there's so much money and bribes and deaths floating around. It's based and centered right here in Stamford. They hate my guts because... I know.
Well, keep in mind, the bribes are $112 million to the state of Connecticut. That's a lot.
Yeah, well, look where I'm at. They already stole my $3.5 million property in California.
2 cars.
Dr.
Right.
Ahuja.
2 cars.
His son and his lawyer did that.
Mm-hmm.
I already had a ruling from the judge that they had no right to my property, yet Connecticut won't do a damn thing to give it back to me.
Right.
I have been back and forth to California through the courts, the jurisdictions here in Stamford, and what do they do when I go down to the police department?
What?
They tell me, turn around and get out or we're arresting you. Today I was at the top of the staircase in the Stamford court, and the marshals shoving me.
Yeah, because you know why? Because they're in...
We're hitting the nail on the head, Johnny, but you know what? There's not a lot of us left to fight because they keep arresting you guys. And now with you under arrest, with you having a court date...
Right.
I mean, they're saying we're threatening. We're not threatening. We're just demanding justice. And where's the public? Get off your asses. Let us know which one of your kids were victimized, because you put them in rehab.
Yeah.
You know those kids are never going to be right.
I know 2 ladies with 2 kids that won't come forward.
Yeah. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
So what shame? The shame is on the doctor. The shame is on the court system. The shame is on the people that are... the shame is on the parents for covering, because they're not helping their kids.
No. I mean, honestly, when you look at the number of pills that they issued,
Just remember, Dr. Ahuja for 35 plus years was the go-to guy in Stamford. Every kid in the high school knew where to go to get their oxy and to get their testosterone. So do the Stamford police officers that used to come in the back door when I worked for Dr. Ahuja.
Right.
They didn't go in the front door. They went in the side door.
Well, that's the deal. They gave the cops steroids. They gave them whatever they wanted.
Viagra.
Nice.
Testosterone. Oxy. And now I'm the bad girl? I'm the bad person? I told them, I'm not I'm not interested in naming the police officers, but I am interested in justice. I want my California property back. Johnny, if it wasn't for you...
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. How many people can you bribe with 18 million in your car trunk?
Yeah, and that's just on a random day they arrest him and he's got 18 million. That's
Right.
a random day.
So by the way, on the books there's 112 million in bribes, okay? I'm saying his trunk money was not on the books. This Oxycontin bribery that the prosecutor's office in Stamford is too profitable to prosecute means they're on the take, just like Richard Colangelo took a bribe that I know of in the Barrier murder. You understand?
They're buying up every house on High Ridge Road. They're buying. This is the Yahujas. They're buying up the houses. I met a man just yesterday that is willing to testify that this guy comes to his home and bangs on the door every day and disrupts him and his wife and his son.
This is Michael.
Michael Ahuja, the brother to Dr. Ahuja.
That's the guy who got indicted.
This house. I want to buy this house. What are you asking? And the man says...
Oh, hold on. What I'm showing the people in my hand is the Michael Ahuja indictment in federal court. Okay? 936F.2D83. Roger, New York City versus A.J. Ahuja. Okay? Michael Ahuja, excuse me.
Yeah, so it's Michael Ahuja versus United States Appellate. That's how the public can look it
Defendant
up.
Appellate Michael Ahuja. Right.
Yeah, spell Ahuja. A-H-U-J-A.
Good.
Michael, A-H-U-J-A. Just look it up.
So by the way, okay? Why they keep attacking Sam, okay, is related to why they're attacking Andrew, which is why they're attacking possibly Chris, possibly me, possibly many other people, possibly 9 people already. Yeah, we're up to 9 people. Yeah.
You were there. You saw the sergeant lie through his teeth for well over an hour on tape. That I was never down to that police department. I never told them that my cars were stolen. I never gave them...
That's Sergeant Weed. He's a liar. He's covering up the Barrier murder evidence.
Okay, well, there you are. So you and the Tyrant Slayer were there. You witnessed it over an hour and 20 minutes of lies. You have it all on tape. And it turned out... Yes, I was there. Yes, I did give them all my information.
Yes. We caught him in a huge lie. The records he produced proved that they had an investigation going, and he said there was none.
And what did they say on the stupid police report? We don't know if the car was stolen or if it was sold. Well, if the sole owner of cars that I got out of the showroom, one in Darien and one in Greenwich, Connecticut, I've always been the sole owner, and they're telling me, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. What in the hell are you guys talking about? I own those cars full out. I paid, for my Jeep Grand Cherokee, I think it was $32,000 way back when. It was upgraded, cheap, and it was brand spanking new out of the showroom floor. And they're telling me no.
So they also stole 2 cars which are currently on the road that were your property that they denied. They denied. Well, hold on. Let me tell you a story. Okay?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
I took 120 stolen car license plates that we found, 120, to the Shelton Police Department. Turns out they're in on it because we never heard anything about it ever again. You understand?
Right.
So here we go. The tow truck got the information on the car from the cop in exchange for a kickback. Period. If they got $1,000 for the car, 500, whatever, they split it. That's understood because we have the tow truck driver. We know who he is. Okay? This is a scam going on all over the state.
Yeah, so they take whistleblowers and they destroy their lives. They steal their property. They steal their vehicles. They incarcerate. They use the mental hospitals to sedate if you don't shut your mouth.
And the judges are working with the prosecutors. I just published an article yesterday that we found where the judge was texting the prosecutor how they could basically frame the guy they wanted. It's in the newspaper. I have the article. It's unbelievable that would be, you know what I mean? And it was in Newsday, published the article. A noteworthy, credible news source.
Yeah. Well, we all know what's going on here. People say, well, we know it's corrupt and all, but what about when it's in their backyard? How about when their kids sit...
No, hold on. I mean, here we go. We're at the oxy discussion, right? But you can die with fentanyl with the tiniest bit on your skin. Keep in mind this. Ready? 10 years ago, 80% of the overdoses were oxy. Now, 80% of the overdoses are fentanyl, which is such a tiny amount that they can put it in an envelope, you open your mail, and you die. You understand?
And what they're doing is arresting the people that are whistleblowing.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than going after, I mean, what the heck? They've weaponized the court system, the police department.
Well, here we go. The whistleblowing in Connecticut is kind of different than most of the whistleblowing going on. I firsthand witnessed all the whistleblowing against Bernie Madoff, okay, who was bribing all the hedge funds as a NASDAQ chairman, which went to Stamford, Greenwich, all these towns where the hedge funds are, and guess what? More than 250 cases were dismissed without a single hearing, without a piece of discovery, without any depositions, no subpoenas, nothing. And it is a mountain of problems. So, all these towns, Norwalk has a 23-year investigation ongoing. Oh, we can't tell you anything. It's an ongoing investigation. Yeah, right.
That's what they did to me when I was going to court, waiting year after year after year to go to court.
Right.
And the day of the trial, I have two attorneys from out of state. And they both were told, go to the...
something interesting. Ready?
Go to the government center and figure it out.
So here we go. Gary McCosey, who's the investigator for the Stamford prosecutor, right?
Right.
Was partners with Thomas Cummings, Norwalk police officer, who was caught having sex with 7 boys. McCosey investigated his partner. There was no prosecution. They cut a deal. They totally screwed up the case. They said that only 3 boys came forward. That wasn't true. Now, hold on a second. Cummings was in charge of the Youth Bureau. Got it? Here we go.
Yep.
McCosey got promoted to state's attorney investigator for screwing up the Cummings pedophilia case. Do you understand?
Sounds just like Robert Finke. He's an assistant.
Exactly. Robert Finke with a Hoosier. Same thing. Promoted to district attorney. Correct. So what they have to do is they have to fudge a major case to get
all these people that are sitting on their hands, their kids are hurt, they've been raped, drugged, sexually assaulted by a Hoosier.
Right.
By them not coming forward.
Hey, why does Conklin drive a Bentley? Because he makes $1.4 million a year.
Why does Heather not have a car to drive?
Because they stole it. Come on. The evidence is clear.
I can't get around phone, can't get to court, can't have to borrow cars. Because,
Well, listen, I just want to say, I worship and validate your courage and your fortitude that you are persevering against all odds and this huge number of scumbags.
Thank you, Johnny, and thank you for helping. And
well,
you know what? We all have to rally around you on your next court date.
Well,
because look at our little group of, 10 quiet people in the courtroom, and we've got a judge with the veins hanging out of his neck screaming at the top of his lungs, "Get out." Well,
yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Well, let me tell you what happened here. Let me just tell the general public what happened here. Sam got forced with all his associates out of the Stamford Superior Court because of Judge Blowie and Judge Randolph. Judge Blowie was the Sandy Hook judge. Randolph is a different situation. Gennario, Heller, Jacobs, Provader. Provader is very important. He was counsel to the city of Stamford under Malloy. When Malloy became governor, Provader, he made him a judge. What happened then? All the money laundering cases went to Provader. No subpoenas, no depositions, no nothing, okay? And even the cases where hitmen were hired to kill people went to Heller, Jacobs, and Provader. Now, Heller, same judge, did a number on Sam's kids, Sam's child. Keep in mind, if Sam's involved because of the Oxy deal, and he's a whistleblower, okay, he doesn't talk about it. He's afraid to talk about that. I'll talk about it because, it has to be talked about. But to tell me I can't videotape and I can't use my own audio equipment when I am a reporter, I became a reporter so that I could have a First Amendment right that they couldn't object to. But we've been denied access to the court, okay? I have problems with the transcripts. There's one transcript with 22 mistakes in it. Here, body cam evidence from the Norwalk Police Department. Side by side, the actual body cam and a video taken on the street. Edited 4 times. Edited. They arrested Alfred, said he resisted arrest. In the edited version, they never say anything. They cut it out. In the real version, they say, he's not resisting. He's not resisting. 5 people are yelling. Leave him alone. He's not resisting. He's not resisting. Meanwhile, chokehold, sweep the knee, broke his knee, broke his neck, and the joke's on them because they don't even know who that guy is, and the truth is going to knock them into another. Yes, Stamford's under investigation by the FBI, so is Norwalk. There's a lot going on that nobody can talk about, but it's all coming to a head. And I'm telling you right now, if you have information that would be helpful to Heather, you need to come forward right now because it's critical, folks. We have 9 people coming forward saying they're victims of this doctor who claims he bought a judge. And I know who the judge is. Sorry. Whoever the case is steered to all the time is the judge. So, let me say something. The hearing that's about to come up about the protective order of Chris, if that goes to Judge White, it's all over. If he watches this video, maybe he won't take it. And maybe Chris will get the protective order he needs.
Protective order, it will not go to Judge White.
You don't know that. Who's willing? Here, this is what happened to McShane. McShane had to take the case because nobody else would. He tried to dish it off. He tried to dish it off on Truglia in the other courtroom, right? And Truglia wanted nothing to do with it, right?
Probably.
Right. So they kick it back to McShane. Shane goes berserk, right?
Well, the thing is, they send us from courtroom to courtroom to courtroom to different courts in different parts.
And then they claim that we didn't appear.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
They say it's you can't be here. We're sending you over where more serious cases are. So everybody goes over to Main Street in Bridgeport.
Right.
Then you get everybody's there. They're there an hour early, waiting in line.
Right.
Now it's getting close, like 9:45, and they tell us, no, it's not over here after all. You're going to go back to where we told you you're out of here. You're not coming back here. That's after Stamford had sent it over to Holly Hill in Bridgeport. So this is bad. They're judge shopping. It's against the law. You're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to court shop or judge shop.
Do you know what it is? Let me just clarify. It's coercion, folks. It's Judge Blowy and Randolph talking about Clark, Kavanewski, and Kremrich, and all the foreclosures of Spader, which is racketeering. Connecticut, keep in mind, judges are allowed to own the mortgage mills in Connecticut. It's the state law. And Spader is not only a judge and a police commissioner, but he's a lobbyist for the industry, paying our senators to allow them to handle mortgage fraud. They all know what EMAP fraud is. They all know what title fraud is, and they all know how to get away with it. Huh?
Yeah.
The people falsifying, the McCalla-Ramers of the world falsifying these records. I have signatures galore in one case. Every single signature by the same guy is different. A one-hump camel, a two-hump camel, a cross, a question mark, then a name. Then you can't read it. None of the signatures match for the same guy. Ever. Out of 120 signatures. Really? I mean, watch the BitChute Spader video. There's two of them. One has 1,400 views, and that's not enough. We should have 1.4 million views. Yeah, we should. Because he not only is the judge, he was the lawyer who set up the deal for the client. Then he steered the case to himself. So, I mean, who's taking the risk here? Sam is innocent. He's a whistleblower. Okay? I was the first whistleblower against Bernie Madoff. September 30th, 2000. Bernie Madoff passed away like 6 months ago. None of the cases have been heard. 250 of them. None of the arbitrations have occurred. They're all in, 12 of them went to the federal court and died there. NFS, when we sued NFS, we also sued Colangelo in the same lawsuit. Immunity, immunity, immunity. Michael Bowler, immunity. Now we have cases pending that are important.
The problem is the
Hey.
retaliation you're not immune from.
Hey, the election fraud case is huge. What's happening right now is we are proving that the appellate court is conspiring with the judges hearing the Stamford Superior Court. Guess why? Guess why? I have filed 60 appeals. 6-0. Never had a hearing. Never had a hearing, folks. 60 judicial complaints.
That's
Never-
a lot of money.
Never had a hearing, folks. See this check in my hand? Get ready. Kelly Dryan Warren, Judge Adams's law firm, cashed my stolen checks from Greenwich Global LP, my brokerage firm. This guy who signed the check is a father of an attorney working for Kelly Dryan Warren, Judge Adams's law firm. Hold on a second. This is one of 1,239 checks. One check is $250,000. The first check I ever gave them to the Stamford Superior Court and to the Stamford Police Department was for $250,000. My office was on Summer Street, 3 blocks down from this police station, and you know what? They're still working on it. Can you believe that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. This is a cash check from my bank account signed by a lawyer's father of Kelly Dry, payable to Kelly Dry, and there are 1,300 of these. We're talking about gigantic financial crimes. Now, when Norwalk investigated, they have a 900-page file. I have it. They don't think I have it, but I have it. Guess what happens on page 175, Heather?
What's that?
They say that John Flynn is a domestic terrorist.
Oh, wonderful.
Guess what? Join the club.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because the threat and the terrorists can be foreign and domestic. What do you think they are?
Yeah, well, they're the terrorists, not us.
Hey, I'm the victim. I'm the victim of the crime.
Yep, that's what we are. We want to say we're survivors, but we're still victims.
Well, when
they stole your home, they stole in my house, they stole my cars.
That's not the biggest crime occurring. You know what the biggest crime occurring is? They are using confidential informants to perform hits. And then, when the hitman comes to kill you, you call 911, you fight the guy for 2.5 hours, and guess what? You can't play the 911 calls in court. Provader, Heller, Jacobs. Happened 3 times. Your Honor, I'd like to play these 31 911 calls. Oh no, they're not going in the record. Oh no, Mr. Flynn, you're a conspiracy theorist. Really? Who hired Richard Filippelli to kill Officer Dealey? Who hired Richard Filippelli to kill Officer Lamb? Why is it in the state transcripts of State versus Riddle that the hitman was hired and gets paid to hurt people, and he's on the payroll, sprung by the prosecutor 3 times to kill 3 different people, and we can't go to court and play the 911 calls? The first 911 call is, listen, I have them all. The first 911 call is the police sending the person to the place to be killed. Do you understand? The second 911 call is, hey, what's going on here? Hold on a second. The third 911 call is the killer talking to the police officer. You understand? Hi. Kill him.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. Now, for the prosecutor to be springing basically a serial killer or a serial rapist, you know that Connecticut let out 77 murderers this year?
Wow.
And guess who they let out? The guy who threw his wife in the chipper 10 years ago. Yeah. Threw his wife in the chipper. They let him out. That's on Bob Duff, by the way. Victims of these released people, you know the crazy.
How long was that guy in
Hold on,
jail?
10 years. Guess what? He had like a. Anyway, you know Kathleen, the crazy lady?
Yeah.
Okay, she was raped by a serial rapist. The serial rapist raped his own wife, and then he raped someone else. Then he raped Catherine, okay? Third. And then we don't know what happened to him for a while, but he got out of prison, recently released, ankle monitor, okay? Got on a train in Stamford, went to Rye, raped a 16-year-old on the MTA train in the bathroom. Guess what? Can't get the police report. He violated his parole. We can't get the police report. We have to prove he was in New York. They arrested him. We can't get the police report. The victim advocate will not give the victim a copy of the report. She has a protective order against him. Do you understand how serious this is? Guess who the judge is? White.
Oh, really?
Guess what? He violated VAWA and other laws. President Biden, when he was a senator, wrote the Violence Against Women's Act. It allows for greater penalties for rapists who rape disabled persons. Guess what happened? Judge White violated it. Read the law and read what he did. They lessened the charge so they could spring him from jail, just like Filippelli, just like these 77 other murderers. Now, this guy, Filippelli, claimed to hurt people for the police union. Okay?
Wow.
It's in the transcript of State versus Riddle. Crazy, right?
Right.
Insane. Insane. Now, what's he doing taking over a brokerage firm's office as a squatter? Excuse me? You can't evict a John Doe. The cops put him in my brokerage firm. Okay? While I was repairing the roof. I bought a foreclosure. I was making it an office. I find the guy living there. And he works for the cops. He says, don't call 911. They're not coming. They sent me here. They told me how to get in. I'm working for them. Hello? This is in Connecticut. It's all well documented. And to say that it's conspiracy theory, there are other cases I am aware of that are so far from conspiracy theory, you can look them up. And if you read the transcripts, it will blow your mind. Okay? Look at the Scaramella case in East Haven. I mean, this case, the cop jumps out of the bushes, off duty, puts a gun to the back of my head, and says, I should kill you now. Do you know what I said? I said, you're not going to shoot me in the back of the head. I kept walking away from her. I called 911. I have the tape. Guess what they said? Scaramella can't be at your house with a gun because she's not working today. Yeah.
Oh, man.
If you could play the 911 calls, folks, this is over. What they're doing is over. If you can prove that confidential informants, which are supposed to be constantly monitored, keep in mind, Whitey Bulger got an approval to murder people by the FBI. Look at our FBI today. James Comey ran the Connecticut FBI, framed a sitting president. Himes and Comey made up the Russia collusion hoax that was fake, that people used to frame a sitting president. And let me tell you, there's gotta be a point where we get off the bed truck and actually fix this crap. And unfortunately, we don't have anyone who's willing to do that, except for the 10 people I know.
And that's why we're being threatened when we walk in the court, and they're making stuff up.
Well, tell that court, Marshal, the little guy. Okay?
Yeah.
You say, I was a rape victim. I was drugged. I woke up.
I don't need to tell him anything except...
Holy moly.
No. I
Yeah.
don't need to tell that guy anything. I don't talk to any of them. I just go about my business the way I'm supposed to. But...
Right, but they have the judge's ear.
It's elder abuse, and I told him today, that's the last straw. You're not pushing me down the stairs. I'm leaving, and I felt frightened.
Did he touch you?
Yes.
Okay, good. Listen to this. I went to Rockville to a case. Marta Robinson versus Ken Collins, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Ken is disabled. He can't get an attorney because he has no more money. His own attorney is suing him. Okay? Get ready.
Right.
I went there after looking at the documents and found a document where the judge's signature is a forgery. Okay? Judge's signature, a forgery. I approached the judge in the courtroom saying, hey, I want to help Sam. I want to help Ken with the evidence, right? He says, go file an appearance. I do. I hand the appearance to the marshal, right? I want to help him with getting the evidence on the record, right?
Right.
I'm not coaching him what to say, what to do. He was struggling because the topics he was bringing up in his court case, which is very important. This guy's dying from mold. He has no teeth. He has cancer. He discovered a mold leak in his defense contractor business, okay, in 2016. The roof is not fixed yet. The employees got black mold cancer, okay? They are dying, okay? There's no attorney. His own attorney took 55 grand, robbed him. There's 3 sets of accounting records. The books don't make sense at all, and I have an accounting degree. Here you go. You look at the facts. I walk up into the courtroom. I hand them in the appearance, and guess what happens? The marshals grab me, take me outside. Some 400-pound marshal manhandles me. I'm like, dude, you don't want me to take your house, but I'm willing to do it if you touch me again. Okay, they threaten me, tell me I'm not allowed back in the courtroom. Really? Because now, since the judge hasn't answered whether that's his signature or not, this problem is federal. You can't be manhandled by a marshal.
I agree.
Covering up the fact that the judge's signature is a forgery on the documents admitted into evidence into the court. What's going on here? The marshal is covering up for the forgery of a disabled person who's dying of cancer, who has $10 million in insurance but can't get it because of this marshal.
Yeah.
Do they realize what's about to happen to them?
Well,
I don't think so, because I made a recording of my conversation. So when you're through, the marshals are overstepping their boundaries.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He should not come up, approach you on a staircase when you're saying, listen, I have a bad knee.
Screaming.
What was his exact words? Say it.
Get out now! Leave now! You're a problem. I know everything about you, and I have been there for 9 years watching this. Get out now! I was leaving the court after filing something with the clerk.
Oh, well, let me just mention, okay? Now, hold on. They stole a $3.5 million house, and they bribed you. The Stamford Police offered you a bribe, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Wow. So $3 million wasn't enough. You wanted your house back, right?
Right.
Okay, so here we go. Now you're losing your second house, right?
Right.
And what is the facts of the documents? Does the person on the paper own the mortgage?
No.
Okay, is it Bank America? Who is it?
Well, I won't get into the background on that.
Right.
But they're saying Bank of New York, Seawalt certificates, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They have no standing because Seawalt, the trust that they're securing.
Oh, all right. The trust failed, right?
The trust wasn't even a trust when they sued me.
Okay.
It didn't exist.
So who's the plaintiff?
Well, it started, the initial bank the feds took over.
Okay.
That was supposed, but even that was wrong. The judge allowed that as well. It was a company in New York, in Manhattan, and it was called Magnus Financial, and they said...
Oh, that's a huge scandal. Yeah.
We don't know anything about your loan.
They failed.
Go get them.
Magnus Financial failed. It was a scam.
Yeah. Well, it was first Magnus Financial, but they wrote Magnus.
Oh, so they don't even have the right plaintiff.
Not even the right plaintiff.
If you don't have the exact name of the entity?
Not when you're in Judge Tierney's courtroom, because remember his statement?
Yeah,
No
Judge Tierney took one of my houses.
And I'm going to see that you lose.
Judge Tierney is not aware, okay, of my counterclaim, okay? 28 cash stolen checks in my mortgage I got no credit for. And they wanted me to repay those 28 checks of $2,300 again. Hold on a second. I didn't get credit for them in the first place because Wells Fargo gave it to their subsidiary and never credited it.
That's why they won't allow me into any kind of modification program, because they can't modify fraud. When I had an attorney, he said, what you don't understand is they cannot modify fraud. So even if you go into a modification and you pay your payments and you can refinance your house, they're going to say that you failed in the modification because they cannot modify fraud.
Well,
These are broken titles. Anyone that tries to take my house.
Hold on. Let me just for a minute, and let me talk about Andrew's case, and then let's end it, okay? What is happening to Andrew? 70 cops took his home for David Chen, right?
Right.
Who is what? Attorney for the Second Circuit Court, the worst court in the country, Queens and the Bronx, okay? And represents pedophiles stealing homes, leaving the moms out in the dirt without their kids. And David Chen, okay, doesn't own Andrew's house. It hasn't cleared. His check never cleared. Now there's the fourth straw buyer.
No, I don't even think there was ever a check. It was just a paper trail. There was no money transferred at all.
Well, there was a call made on Good Friday at, I think, 5:42 or something, saying that Andrew was trespassing with a gun on his old property. That was false. So they were giving probable cause to the Norwalk police to shoot him on sight when he was never there.
And thank you, Lord, for protecting Andrew. I mean,
right.
They did a
so this is the extreme it's gone to because of these judges, right?
So he's visiting, he lived in that neighborhood for 35 plus years, and he's visiting an old neighbor, and because somebody said something, they didn't ask him anything. They came in force, banging on a neighbor's door, took Andrew away, and then there's the price of another bond, and now it's another arraignment.
Right.
The bottom line is,
and look at the Porzio. Look at the Porzio kid. Had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, we were all there. He didn't do anything. They beat him up, smashed him to the ground.
10 on 1.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
By the way, this guy is an arborist that was cleaning up a tree, a paid arborist, with a maul, not an axe, a maul, a splitting wood maul. Now, they said, the cops had said, oh, this maniac was brandishing an axe. No, he's an arborist. He cut the tree down the prior day, and he came back to split the logs. Wow.
And they let him in. They let him in, and they went and they set him up the way they were trying to set us up in the court. They invited us back into the court. Who the heck is going to go into a courtroom when a marshal comes out and states the fact? You guys, what was the exact word? I want to get it exactly right.
Hey, by the way, we're at 58 minutes. You think we should cap it off?
Yeah, cut it off.
You're an angel.
Thank you, Johnny.
I cook dinner for you every night, and you never show up. You're missing some mighty good salmon, everything. Leg of lamb. Come on. Who gives you leg of lamb?
I know. Wow.
Well.
All right. Let's get in under an hour. Bye.
You want angel hair or tortellini tonight? Bye.
Bye.